Hi. Sorry, I was trying to fix my keyboard. It just wouldn't connect for some reason. Um Welcome. I'm Anna Finch. So we're just going to do some some writing sprints today. Not sure how many. It depends on if I can get this keyboard to connect. All right. How are you guys going with your Nano? I might have to turn this on and off again. So with my Nano, I'm actually behind, like significantly behind. Good, it's connected. Yeah, so I'm significantly behind, like 10,000 words behind. That's because I don't write every day. Because I write too much at work and I am mentally drained by the end of it a lot of the time. Okay, so we're going to start our first writing sprint. We're going to do a 15-minute one. Yeah, let me put this on the screen. All right, so we're going to start with 15 minutes and then we might do some longer sprints and we might do some shorter sprints. It really depends. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, I'm just going to count, see how many words I've got. All right, I've got 247 words this sprint, which is pretty good. How did everyone else go? Hey, welcome. Well, welcome to those who've just joined. All right. So I am, normally I can type a little bit faster, but I'm not used to this keyboard. I only got it like a week ago, and the keys are much closer together than they are on my normal keyboard that I use. But I'm pretty happy with what I've got. It's first sprint, so not my best, but 182. Hey, you got words in. It could also just be a warm-up. You can always get better from here. I was looking for live NaNoWriMo sprints, found your channel. Haven't written anything so far all day. That's all right. We'll have days where we don't write too much. But you showed up, have a go. That's the main thing. And you might not have written, but you could also do things like editing, reading over your work, if that's something you like doing while you're writing a draft. But word count isn't everything, as long as you're happy with what you've got. 477, not sure, I'll be back. I'll back that up next time. I was late and distracted, but I got about 32. Hey, words are words. You got to start. That's the main thing. I also got a bit distracted. So I am currently at a scene where my character is about to take revenge. Now, this is a sequel to my previous novel that I published, and I couldn't for the life of me remember if I described the throne room at all. So I'm like, I literally went and grabbed these off my bookshelf and like flicked through it to try and find out, did I actually describe the throne room at any point in that book? I couldn't find it. So hopefully I didn't describe it, and my description in this isn't going to conflict with any of it. But yeah, so revenge is about to happen and a fight is about to break out. So I want to at least get this chapter done, because that's the startup of the fight, because of the revenge she wants to take. And then if I can get a head start on the other chapter, which is the actual fight scene. And I have no clue how I'm going to write a fight scene. Fight scenes are not generally my thing. I mean, I include them, but I'm not a martial arts expert, and this fight scene is underwater because these characters are mermaids. Their curse is broken, but it doesn't change the fact that they are fundamentally still mermaids. Yeah. Yeah. Fight scenes are hard. Like, in my debut novel, the battle was like the war, like the battle's basically kick the king off the throne. It was like, what, 3 chapters? But I tried to avoid doing direct fight scenes, like describing the movements as much as possible, because it's not my thing. I've never fight scene. That's okay. I mean, not every story requires one. I mean, my story's got a lot of magic in it, and a lot of the fight in this is using magic. So I can just say, person cast this spell, or they said and say the spell, and then they just have the effect of throwing someone across the room, rather than describing them punching someone or pushing someone across the other side of the room. But the problem is my characters also use weapons, so I have no idea how to use an axe. And this character is about to use an axe. Just like I had no idea how to use a spear, and I had to describe my character in the previous book using a spear. Yeah. Mine generally turned into a complete mess. When I first wrote mine in the previous book, oh my god, it was such a mess. I literally had to, I'm like, it needs to make sense. So I literally had to like go through it and go, okay, I need it to make sense. So I'm like, rip out this, rip out that, and just like having it more on the character's internal thoughts and what they were thinking about, and like the effects, like the mental effects on them for the conflict, just to avoid getting a complete mess on the actual fighting abilities of my characters. My characters are also underwater. Yeah, I like so far, like I've got a children's book that's set underwater, and I've also got my first novel, which is the majority of it is underwater. I don't know, I just love the ocean, and I love mermaids, so something I generally tend to write. I do have like an outline for I've got a complete outline actually for a supernatural murder mystery that I would like to write, but I need to get this one done because I've been working on this draft for this sequel for 3-ish years. Yeah, 3 years this October. And I need to get it done, and I need to get it edited and released at some point next year. So I really need to focus and like get it done. And the fight scenes are draining me. The fight scenes are not as bad personally. I find the fight scenes are not as bad as romance scenes or scenes where characters are going on dates, because that's it's not my thing. Even though I included romance in my first one, the only reason romance was in my first novel is because my brother was like, when he was looking at the script, are they dating? Because they certainly act like it. So I had to go back and edit it. I'm like, it still ended up as romantic at the end. Hopefully this one doesn't, because romance, I generally don't watch romance or read any romance. I like action stuff more than I like the romance stuff. And I have no idea whether this one is going to end up as a YA or an adult book, adult fiction. Yeah. Yeah. Good thing is me and my brother have similar tastes in writing and reading, because he also writes as well. He hasn't published anything, and he hasn't done a lot of it lately, but we were originally going to do like a collab on a story with assassins. That fell through. But story-wise, like fiction-wise, we have pretty much the same taste. So we like similar stuff. We both like supernatural stuff. But yeah, my brother, I love him, but he's a pain. He's also very honest, like very, very honest when it comes to, if I give him my work to read, he was very brutally honest when he read through mine. He's like, they sound like they're in love. They act like they're in love. Why don't you just say that they are? So I had to go back and change it. And then when I sent it to the developmental editor, and they're like, oh, but you have to add the backstory, the dates, the little interactions to show that they've actually fallen in love rather than just saying they are and doing romantic undertones to it. I'm like, oh my God. I had to figure out how to write a date. Oh my God. That was a nightmare. Nightmare and a half. All right. You know what? We're going to do another. We can do another. We can do a. We're going to do our second sprint. 10 or 15 minutes. What would you guys prefer? All right. You know what? We'll do 10 because I do need to finish this sprint at 1 o'clock. I mean, 1 o'clock here in Australia, because I'm planning on going to the city. So I need to get some words done, but I need to make sure I finish this chapter when I come back from the city because I need to get 2,000 words a day to make 50,000 by the end of the month for Nano. All right, let's do another sprint. We're going to do 10 minutes this time, and let's see how we go. Okay, so I got 164 words this sprint. Partly because I had to check check the descriptions of some of my characters, because this idiot decided to have more than 50 characters with names. Oh, sorry, not more than 50. That's a bit of an exaggeration. I have 26 characters with names in their original book, in their first book. And I have to actually read through and find out, how did I describe them? What their personality is like? And what do they look like, including the sisters of the characters? Oh, yeah. All right. A cloudy day. Yeah, it's a bit cloudy here where I am too. Better than yesterday, 34 degrees Celsius. It was boiling, and I had a kid complaining about the air conditioner being on when I was teaching their class. They were wearing a jumper, and it was 34 degrees, and they were complaining about being cold. I'm just like, oh, they have no thermal control. 15 is good. Hey, words are words. You got words done. That's the main thing. 309. That's awesome. 283. That's really awesome too. 207. Well done. That's really cool. 386. That's awesome. How do I keep track of that many? The characters? I use index cards, where I basically have like a list of the character names in that particular book. I write their names, and I've given them all a number, and then I number the index cards. So the main characters have like 5 cards, right? But the other characters that I name, they've got like 1 card, and I literally just put what their appearance is like, what happened to them, like a key thing, why they're relevant in the story, basically little information about them. So I can keep track using this, and I use multiple index cards. So I've got different colors for different things. So I use pink cards, my least favorite color, for the characters. I use blue cards for plot points. So each chapter, I write down. I'll see if I can put it on bigger than the screen. So on like the little index cards, like for the plot points, I basically put each chapter and what that chapter is about. So is it an intro? Is it world building? Is it like the romance thing? Is it an inciting incident, rising action? So I actually put what happens in each chapter. And then when I go to the actual, like, for example, this one, I actually write, I'm trying to put them in, I write down the themes in that particular chapter, key plot points. This is so if I have to go back, I can go, okay, I've written this particular plot point already. I did this for my first one. I'm waiting till I finish this draft before I write plot points, and I get the developmental editing done, so I keep track of it. It also means that if I've written something about the person's character's past, I can flick through and go, oh yeah, I mentioned it here, but sometimes I don't put everything on there, so I have to look through the actual book, but at least it helps me. And I use like the green cards for spells. So I write down the name of the spell, what it literally means, what does it have, and I put because the characters in my book I decided for some reason to have the spells be in Hebrew, which I don't speak. But I picked it because I'm like, it's one of the oldest languages that's still spoken, and it fits with the region that my story is set in, even though it's a mermaid one. And I put the spell, the pronunciation, English translation, point of the spell, so I can keep track of the magic. Because otherwise, I'm not going to have any clue. It also means that if the characters are repeating spells in another book, I don't have to get a translator for it. I can just use the translations I've already got. Yeah, I do that, and I do that same thing for like themes and whatever, so I know I can keep track of it. Yeah. That kid would have been you. Oh my god. Yeah. Look, normally there's always at least one kid. There's one, maybe two kids that I complain about the temperature of the room. And to my surprise, this kid normally doesn't, but it was usually it's another kid that complains about the temperature being too hot, being too cold. And that kid was actually telling the other kid to basically stop talking because they didn't know anything. But I had to explain to that kid, like, the reason why the air conditioning is on now is because it's going to reach 34 degrees once you after it hits 1 p.m. If I turn it off and we go outside, and you guys go outside, and you come back in to have class in here, this room's going to be boiling. Like, there's windows everywhere. It's so bright in here. There's no chance that it's not going to be cool. So, but still, I had to complain about the weather and the temperature. But yeah, there's always at least one. Oh god. But yeah, I like teaching. That's my main job. And I know what I'm teaching next year, which is good. So I can plan. So I'm just glad I'm teaching pretty much all law/history next year, which is awesome. It's what I like. But yeah. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent. What are some of the projects that you guys are working on? I'll get set up for the next sprint. But yeah, I've technically got two projects. So I've got the one I'm writing. So I've got basically two goals. A writing one, which I'm about 10,000 words behind on, and a illustration one, because I'm illustrating my next children's book, or one of them at least. Done none of the illustration goal. I've done some of the writing goal, but none of the illustration. So mine's a contemporary drama. That's cool. What else is it? What else is everyone writing or working on? Okay. Writing a romance? That's cool. Is it romance like YA, like YA romance, or is it like more adult fiction type romance? Adult fiction? Yeah, it's fine. Like, look, romance is not my thing. I've written some romance, but usually in the undertones, I had to get it pointed out to me that it was actually romance, that what I was writing, because it's not my thing. But I have read romance books before. And generally speaking, I find the ones that aren't super spicy better. So it's still cool. Mine's volume 2 of an epic fantasy. That's awesome. All right. Okay, so we've got one last sprint. So we're going to do 10 minutes. So we've got one last 10-minute sprint. I'm writing a fantasy. That's awesome. So this, so before we go on our sprint, so I will be doing these live streams every Saturday, 12 p.m. This is Australian time, throughout Nano, and I will be continuing them after Nano. So you're always welcome to come and join me for sprints. All right. So let's get started with the last writing sprint for today, or at least for this stream. Might join other streams later to do some words. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I've got 146 words this sprint. I am still nowhere near the fight scene, but I've basically written so far a page and a half, roughly, this sprint. So it's probably going to end up longer. Basically, what I've done so far in this story is person's entered the throne room. She's waiting to be alone with the guy she wants revenge on, aka her adoptive father, and she's basically examining her sisters and basically memorizing their faces because she realized, well, even if she succeeds, she's going to have to get out of Dodge and she'll probably never have to be able to see them again. So I'm trying to set that up and show that there are some second thoughts, there is some doubt, and she cares a lot about her sisters and she doesn't want to forget them. She's thousands of years old, and she was actually there at the fall of the city, the curse. She was there when the curse started. She had to live through the pain of the curse. And so I wanted to show that she's very old in this. But I'm happy to have to head off. Thanks for the prints. That's all right. Come and join me next week. I'll be doing sprints again. I hope it goes well with your words. 178. That's awesome. 190 words. It's really awesome. 386. Well done. All right. So that was our last sprint for today. I'll be doing more sprints next week, same time, so from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Australian time. Yes, I'll be doing this throughout Nano, and I have also set up a stream for after Nano as well, and I intend to continue doing this for hopefully the rest of the year, each Saturday, even outside of Nano. But thank you for joining me. I hope you've been able to get the words you've needed. I'll see you next week. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Bye.